You've been trying to hide your weaknesses, ashamed of your limitations, embarrassed by your struggles. But I want to show you something revolutionary. Your weakness is not your enemy. It's your greatest asset. Because where you are weak, I am strong. And my strength in your weakness creates miracles that no human strength could ever achieve. My beloved child, everything the world has taught you about strength and weakness is backwards. The world tells you to hide your flaws, mask your struggles, and pretend you have it all together. But I operate by different principles. I don't use the strong, I use the weak. I don't choose the perfect, I choose the broken. I don't anoint the flawless, I anoint the flawed. Today, I want to transform your perspective on weakness. I want to show you that what you've been running from is actually what I've been waiting to use. Your weaknesses are not obstacles to overcome. They are doorways through which my power enters your life. From the moment you were born, the world began teaching you that strength means independence, that success means self-sufficiency, that maturity means needing no one. You learned to say, I can do it myself, even when you couldn't. You learned to carry burdens alone even when they were too heavy. You learned to solve problems without asking for help even when you didn't have the answers. This lie of self-sufficiency has robbed you of something beautiful, the experience of my strength working through your weakness. When you try to be strong enough, smart enough, capable enough on your own, you leave no room for me to demonstrate my power in your life. You've been working so hard to prove you're strong enough to handle everything that comes your way. You've been striving to show that you don't need help, that you can figure it out, that you can overcome any obstacle through sheer determination and willpower. But this exhausting pursuit of self-sufficiency has left you depleted, overwhelmed, and wondering why things feel so difficult. The truth is, you were never meant to be self-sufficient. You were designed to be God-sufficient. You were created not to be independent, but to be dependent on me. Your need for me is not a flaw in your design. It's the most beautiful part of who you are. When you try to be strong in your own strength, you limit yourself to human capacity. But when you embrace your weakness and invite my strength, you gain access to supernatural capacity. Your weakness is not something to overcome. It's something to lean into so that my power can be made perfect. I have a preference, and it might surprise you. I prefer broken vessels over polished ones. I choose cracked pots over perfect containers. I use wounded healers over flawless fixers. Because when my power flows through something broken, everyone knows the power isn't coming from the vessel. It's coming from me. Think about the people I chose to use throughout history. Moses stuttered, yet I made him my spokesperson. David was the youngest and smallest, yet I made him a giant killer. Peter was impulsive and denied me, yet I made him the rock on which I built my church. Paul was a persecutor of my people, yet I made him my greatest evangelist. None of these people were chosen because they were strong in themselves. They were chosen because their weaknesses created space for my strength to shine. Their limitations became launchpads for my power. Their flaws became platforms for my glory. You look at your weaknesses and see disqualification. I look at your weaknesses and see opportunity. You see your struggles and think you're unfit for purpose. I see your struggles and know you're perfectly positioned for my power to be displayed. The cracks in your life are not evidence of your failure. They're evidence of your humanity. And it's through those very cracks that my light shines brightest. Your broken places are not your greatest shame. They're your greatest qualification for experiencing my supernatural strength. Stop trying to hide the broken pieces of your life. Stop attempting to glue yourself back together before coming to me. Bring me your brokenness, and I will show you how beautifully my power flows through fractured vessels. There is incredible power in the moment you stop pretending to be strong and start admitting you're weak. There is supernatural strength released when you stop saying, I've got this, and start saying, I need help. There is divine intervention activated when you stop trying to figure it out alone and start acknowledging you don't have all the answers. The word help is not a sign of failure. It's a declaration of faith. When you ask for help, you're acknowledging that there's power greater than your own available to you. When you admit your weakness, you're positioning yourself to receive strength that surpasses human capacity. But admission is difficult because it requires vulnerability, and vulnerability feels dangerous. You've been hurt before when you showed your weakness. People have taken advantage of your openness, minimized your struggles, or made you feel foolish for needing help. So you've learned to keep your guard up, to present a strong front, to handle things privately. I understand why you've built walls around your weaknesses. I know why you've learned to cope alone. I see how the world has taught you that needing help is shameful. But with me, vulnerability is not dangerous, it's powerful. With me, admission of weakness is not humiliation. It's invitation for supernatural intervention. When you come to me and say, "I can't do this," I respond with, "I can." When you admit, "I don't know how," I reply, "I do." When you confess, "I'm not strong enough," I declare, "But I am." Your admission of weakness is my invitation to show up in power. The moment you stop trying to be what you're not, you create space for me to be who I am in your life. The instant you admit your limitations, you access my unlimited resources. Your weakness admitted becomes my strength activated. There's a place in every life where human strength reaches its limit. It's the place where your best efforts aren't enough, where your wisdom runs out, where your resources are depleted. It's the place where you've tried everything you know to try and nothing has worked. It's the place where you realize you're in over your head. Most people see this place as defeat. I see it as opportunity. Most people view this as the end of hope. I view it as the beginning of miracles, because this is precisely where my strength begins, where yours ends. Your human strength was never meant to be sufficient for everything you face. There are situations in your life that are bigger than your capacity to handle them, problems more complex than your ability to solve them, needs greater than your resources to meet them. This isn't a design flaw, it's intentional design. I allowed certain things in your life to be beyond your human strength so that you would discover my supernatural strength. I permitted some challenges to exceed your natural abilities so that you would experience my supernatural capabilities. I let some problems remain unsolved by human wisdom so that you would seek divine wisdom. When you reach the end of your rope, you're actually reaching the beginning of mine. When you come to the limit of what you can do, you're arriving at the starting point of what I can do. Your "I can't" is the doorway to my "I can." Don't be discouraged when you encounter situations that are too big for you to handle. Don't be dismayed when you face problems that are beyond your ability to solve. Don't be defeated when you meet challenges that exceed your natural strength. These are not obstacles to your success. They are invitations to experience supernatural intervention. My power is not just strong, it's perfect. And here's something that will transform how you see your weaknesses. My power is made perfect in weakness. Not in spite of weakness, but in weakness. Your weakness doesn't hinder my power, it perfects it. When my strength works through human strength, people might wonder where the power is coming from. But when my strength works through human weakness, there's no question, everyone knows it's supernatural. Your weakness provides the perfect backdrop against which my power is most clearly displayed. Think of it like a diamond on black velvet. The darkness of the velvet doesn't diminish the brilliance of the diamond. It makes it shine brighter. Your weakness doesn't diminish my power. It makes it more evident, more glorious, more undeniable. The perfection of my power means it's not diminished by your imperfection. It's not reduced by your limitations. It's not weakened by your struggles. In fact, the greater your weakness, the more perfectly my power is displayed. The deeper your need, the more dramatically my sufficiency is demonstrated. This is why I don't wait for you to get stronger before I help you. I don't require you to overcome your weaknesses before I work through them. I don't need you to fix yourself before I use you. My perfect power works most beautifully through imperfect people. Stop waiting until you feel strong enough to step into what I'm calling you to do. Stop trying to overcome every weakness before you say yes to my purposes. Stop believing the lie that you have to be perfect for my perfect power to work through you. My strength is made perfect in your weakness, not in your strength. Every time you feel inadequate, I'm extending an invitation. Every moment you think, I'm not good enough, I'm saying, but I am. Every instance you believe, I can't do this, I'm declaring, we can do this together. Your sense of inadequacy is not condemnation, it's invitation. You've been seeing your inadequacy as disqualification, but I see it as qualification. You've been viewing your not enough as rejection, but I see it as selection. Because the people I use most powerfully are those who know they're not enough on their own and are therefore open to being enough through me. When you feel inadequate for the task ahead of you, you're feeling exactly what I want you to feel. When you think you're not qualified for what I'm calling you to do, you're thinking correctly. When you believe you don't have what it takes, you're absolutely right, you don't. But I do. Your inadequacy is not meant to stop you, it's meant to redirect you to me. Your insufficiency is not meant to discourage you, it's meant to point you to my sufficiency. Your weakness is not meant to defeat you, it's meant to position you for supernatural victory. The goal is not to become adequate in yourself. The goal is to discover my adequacy in you. The objective is not to develop strength enough to handle everything alone. The objective is to learn to access my strength that can handle anything. When Moses felt inadequate to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, I didn't send him to leadership training. I sent him with my presence. When Gideon felt inadequate to defeat the Midianites, I didn't give him a bigger army. I gave him my strategy. When David felt inadequate to face Goliath, I didn't make him stronger. I made my power perfect in his weakness. Your weaknesses are not permanent disqualifications. They are temporary assignments for transformation. Every weakness in your life is an opportunity for my strength to be developed in that area. Every limitation you face is a chance for my power to be perfected in that space. I don't remove all your weaknesses. I transform them into strengths. I don't eliminate every limitation. I work through them to create something beautiful. I don't take away every struggle. I use them to build character, develop faith, and demonstrate my power. The very areas where you feel weakest are often the areas where I intend to make you strongest. The places where you struggle most are frequently the places where I plan to use you most powerfully. The weaknesses you're most ashamed of are sometimes the very traits I want to transform into your greatest strengths. Your quick temper could become passionate advocacy for justice. Your oversensitivity could become deep empathy for others' pain. Your tendency to worry could become careful attention to detail. Your impulsiveness could become bold faith in action. Your stubborn streak could become unwavering determination. Don't despise your weaknesses. They are raw material for my transformation. Don't hate your struggles. They are classrooms for my teaching. Don't reject your limitations. They are canvases for my artistry. I am in the business of transformation, and some of my greatest masterpieces are created from what others would consider weak, broken, or flawed materials. Trust me with your weaknesses, and watch me transform them into unexpected strengths. One of the beautiful things about embracing your weakness is that it connects you with a community of others who understand. When you stop pretending to be strong and start being honest about your struggles, you discover you're not alone in your weaknesses. The world is full of people who are pretending to be strong while struggling with weakness. They're wearing masks of competence while feeling incompetent inside. They're projecting confidence while battling insecurity. They're appearing successful while feeling like failures. When you become vulnerable about your weaknesses, you give others permission to do the same. When you admit your struggles, you create space for others to share theirs. When you acknowledge your need for help, you make it easier for others to ask for help too. This community of acknowledged weakness is where real strength is built. It's where authentic relationships are formed. It's where genuine support is given and received. It's where my power is most evident because it's where human pretense is set aside. In this community, people don't compete to see who's strongest. They collaborate to help each other find strength in me. They don't hide their struggles. They share them for mutual encouragement. They don't judge each other's weaknesses. They understand them because they have their own. This is the kind of community I designed for you to be part of. Not a community of perfect people pretending to have it all together, but a community of imperfect people acknowledging their need for grace, help, and supernatural strength. Every day you face a choice. Will you try to be strong in your own strength, or will you choose to be strong in mine? Will you attempt to handle everything through human effort, or will you access supernatural power through admitted weakness? This choice shows up in practical ways throughout your day. When you face a difficult conversation, Will you trust in your own wisdom or seek mine? When you encounter a challenging situation, will you rely on your own resources or tap into my unlimited supply? When you feel overwhelmed by responsibilities, will you try to power through alone or invite my help? The choice to be weak so that I can be strong in you is not a one-time decision. It's a daily, moment-by-moment choice. It's the choice to say, I need help, instead of, I've got this. It's the choice to pray, your will be done, instead of, I'll figure it out. It's the choice to depend on me instead of depending on yourself. This daily choice becomes easier as you experience the benefits of my strength working through your weakness. As you see what happens when you invite my power into your situations, you become more willing to admit your need for help. As you witness miracles that happen through vulnerability, you become more comfortable with being honest about your limitations. But it starts with a choice, the choice to value my strength more than your appearance of strength, to prioritize my power more than your image of competence, to desire my supernatural intervention more than your natural self-sufficiency. Choose weakness that leads to supernatural strength. Choose vulnerability that opens the door to divine power. Choose admission of need that activates heavenly resources. Some of the greatest miracles I perform happen not when people are feeling strong, but when they're feeling weak. Not when they have everything together, but when everything is falling apart. Not when they're confident in their abilities, but when they're aware of their limitations. In weakness, people are more open to supernatural intervention. In limitation, they're more receptive to divine assistance. In struggle, they're more willing to accept help from beyond themselves. Weakness creates the perfect environment for miracles because it eliminates human pride and opens hearts to divine possibility. I've performed healing miracles for people who had tried every human remedy and found none that worked. I've provided financial miracles for people who had exhausted every natural resource. I've restored relationships that human wisdom said were beyond repair. I've opened doors that human effort couldn't budge. These miracles didn't happen because people were strong enough to deserve them or capable enough to achieve them. They happened because people were weak enough to need them and humble enough to receive them. Your current weakness is not preventing miracles from happening in your life. It's positioning you for miracles to happen. Your present limitations are not blocking supernatural intervention. They're creating the perfect conditions for it. Don't wait until you feel stronger to expect miracles. Don't postpone believing for supernatural intervention until you're more capable. Don't delay asking for divine help until you're more qualified. Your weakness right now is the perfect setup for my miraculous power to be displayed. Human strength has limits. It gets depleted with use, diminished by stress, and exhausted by demands. But my strength working through your weakness is renewable, sustainable, and inexhaustible. When you learn to draw from my strength rather than your own, you tap into a source of power that never runs dry. This is why people who operate in their own strength often experience burnout, while people who operate in my strength through acknowledged weakness find renewal even in the midst of great demands. My strength doesn't get tired. My power doesn't get depleted. My resources don't get exhausted. When you try to be strong in your own strength, you carry everything on your own shoulders. When you're strong in my strength through your weakness, I carry the load while you participate in the victory. The difference is supernatural endurance versus human exhaustion. This supernatural strength doesn't mean you'll never feel tired or never need rest. It means that even in your tiredness, you'll find supernatural energy. Even in your weariness, you'll discover renewed purpose. Even in your exhaustion, you'll experience divine refreshing. The strength I give you through your weakness is not just powerful, it's sustainable. It's not just sufficient, it's abundant. It's not just helpful, it's transformational. This is the kind of strength that enables you to endure hardships, overcome obstacles, and achieve things that seemed impossible. When my power works through your weakness, it brings glory to my name in a way that your own strength never could. When people see supernatural results flowing through natural weakness, they know something divine is happening. This brings honor to me and encouragement to them. Your willingness to be weak so that I can be strong is an act of worship. It's a declaration that I am greater than your limitations, more powerful than your struggles, more capable than your best efforts. It's a testimony to my sufficiency when you acknowledge your insufficiency. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop trying. It means you try in dependence on me rather than in independence from me. You work, but you work in my strength. You strive, but you strive with my power. You move forward, but you move forward leaning on me. The glory that comes from my strength working through your weakness is different from the recognition that comes from personal achievement. It's deeper, more satisfying, and more enduring because it's based on truth rather than pretense, on my power rather than your performance. When people see what I do through your weakness, they don't just admire your strength, they encounter mine. They don't just respect your abilities, they recognize my power. They don't just appreciate your accomplishments, they acknowledge my intervention. Your identity is not based on your strength. It's based on my love. Your worth is not determined by your capabilities. It's determined by my choice to call you mine. Your value is not measured by your performance. It's measured by my sacrifice for you. In a world that defines people by their strengths, I define you by my love. In a culture that values people for their abilities, I value you for your identity as my child. In a society that judges people by their achievements, I accept you based on my grace. This means you can embrace your weaknesses without shame because they don't diminish your worth. You can acknowledge your limitations without embarrassment because they don't reduce your value. You can admit your struggles without humiliation because they don't change your identity. You are not a strong person trying to get stronger. You are my beloved child learning to find strength in me. You are not a capable person working to become more capable. You are my chosen one discovering that my capability is sufficient. You are not a powerful person striving for more power. You are my precious child accessing supernatural power through admitted weakness. This new identity frees you from the exhausting pursuit of human strength and opens you to the restful reception of divine strength. It releases you from the pressure to be enough and allows you to rest in my more than enough. I'm not asking you to become weak so I can replace you. I'm inviting you to acknowledge your weakness so we can work together. This is not about elimination of your role. It's about elevation of our partnership. Your weakness plus my strength creates a combination more powerful than either could achieve alone. In this partnership, you bring your humanity and I bring my divinity. You bring your limitations and I bring my limitless resources. You bring your questions and I bring my answers. You bring your needs and I bring my provision. This partnership doesn't diminish your importance. It magnifies your potential. It doesn't reduce your contribution. It supernaturally enhances it. It doesn't make you less necessary. It makes you more effective. Together, we can accomplish things that you could never do alone and things that I choose not to do without you. Your willing weakness combined with my unlimited strength creates possibilities that are truly miraculous. My beloved child, today marks the beginning of a new way of living. A way that celebrates weakness because it opens the door to supernatural strength. No longer will you need to pretend to be stronger than you are. No longer will you need to hide your limitations or struggles. Instead, you can embrace your weakness as your greatest asset. You can acknowledge your limitations as opportunities for divine intervention. You can admit your struggles as invitations for supernatural help. Your weakness is not your disqualification, it's your qualification for experiencing my power. Your limitations are not your obstacles. They're your platforms for divine strength. Your struggles are not your defeats. They're your setups for supernatural victories. From this day forward, when you feel weak, remember that this is exactly where my strength is made perfect. When you feel inadequate, remember that this is precisely when my adequacy shines brightest. When you feel overwhelmed, remember that this is the perfect time to experience my overwhelming power. Don't hide your weakness, offer it to me. Don't disguise your limitations, surrender them to my strength. Don't mask your struggles, transform them into testimonies of my power. Your weakness is my strength. Your limitation is my opportunity. Your struggle is my stage for displaying supernatural power. Embrace your weakness and discover the strength that only I can provide. Amen.